Why? Serious questions are being asked about former President Joe Biden's health. For a long time, people have wondered if he was truly well enough for the job. These are not new questions, but they are getting louder now. Many Americans saw moments where Mr. Biden seemed confused or unsure. The concerns grew throughout his time in office, and now, even after his presidency, the truth is still being sought. People want to know what was really happening behind the scenes at the White House regarding his fitness to lead the country, a role that demands constant sharpness and energy. There are strong claims that the White House tried to hide how serious Mr. Biden's health problems were. A new book called Original Sin says that Mr. Biden's team knew he was having trouble with his thinking but did not tell the public the full story. This book, written by respected journalists, suggests a deliberate effort to conceal the extent of his cognitive decline. Adding to this, former Democratic Congressman Dean Phillips wrote an article on May 23, 2025. He said the Democratic Party was constantly lying and gaslighting everyone about Mr. Biden's mental sharpness, which he found deeply troubling. There were many times when people saw things that made them worry about Mr. Biden. For example, Dean Phillips talked about a Christmas party at the White House in December 2022. He said Mr. Biden's condition was so clear that it was too graphic to ignore. He even said Mr. Biden was unfit to serve a second term. Special counsel Robert Hur also wrote a report. This report said Mr. Biden had a poor memory. This was one reason Mr. Hur decided not to bring charges about classified documents. Mr. Biden's staff also reportedly changed his schedule often, perhaps to help him manage these issues. When reporters like me asked about these things, the White House often brushed off the concerns. Former White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre would often say Mr. Biden was just making a joke, or she would say his comments were just off-the-cuff remarks. For instance, when Mr. Biden told the same campaign story many times or seemed to mix up world leaders, the official response was usually that it was not a big deal. But for many, these explanations were not enough, and the pattern of incidents continued to fuel public and media speculation about his true capabilities. Now, the investigation into former President Biden's health and a possible cover-up seems to be reaching his closest family. Reports from Fox News indicate that subpoenas could be issued very soon. These legal documents would require members of Mr. Biden's inner circle to provide information. Specifically, his wife Jill Biden and his son Hunter Biden are among those expected to receive these subpoenas. This is a big step in trying to find out what really happened and who knew what about Mr. Biden's condition while he was in office. The American people deserve to know if there was a concerted effort to mislead them. These subpoenas are not just a random action. They are part of a serious ongoing investigation. The main goal is to uncover if there was an organized attempt to hide the truth about Mr. Biden's health from the American public. Lawmakers are looking into whether decisions were made to present a false picture of his fitness. If his closest family members are called to testify or provide documents, it suggests investigators believe they have important information. This could shed light on private conversations and actions that took place away from public view, potentially revealing the extent of any alleged deception. Former Congressman Dean Phillips has also said that Mr. Biden was surrounded by people who told him everything was fine. He claimed that Mr. Biden's family and his advisors kept telling him he was popular, able, and the best candidate. This was happening even when, according to Phillips, there were clear signs that Mr. Biden was struggling. If these claims are true, it means his inner circle might have played a key role in encouraging him to continue, possibly downplaying any health concerns. This makes their potential testimony crucial for understanding the full picture of the situation. Of course, during his time in office, Mr. Biden himself always said he was fit for the job. When asked about his mental state or his ability to handle the pressures of the presidency, he would often point to his accomplishments. He and his team consistently pushed back against any suggestions that he was not up to the task. However, the persistent questions and the new reports about imminent subpoenas show that many people, including those in Congress, are not satisfied with those past assurances and believe a deeper look is absolutely necessary to ensure accountability. Adding another layer to the concerns, there have been reports about Hunter Biden's activities during his father's presidency. Fox News has reported that Hunter Biden was seen spending a lot of time at the White House, sometimes more than anyone else. This has made people wonder about his role there. What was he doing? Did he have an official job or any formal responsibilities that would explain such a frequent and extended presence in the West Wing or other parts of the executive mansion? These are important questions that need clear answers, especially given the other concerns about his father's health. The fact that Hunter Biden was reportedly at the White House so much has led to some very serious questions. People are asking who was really making the big decisions for the country. If former President Biden was having health problems, as many suspect, was Hunter Biden influencing policy or operations? This is a critical point because the American people elect a president, not their family members, to run the country. The idea that someone without an official, publicly vetted role could be wielding significant influence from within the White House is deeply concerning for the principles of democratic governance. The implications of Hunter Biden's extensive White House presence, if true, are significant. Was he advising his father on important matters? Did he have access to sensitive information or meetings that are usually reserved for senior government officials? Without clear explanations, speculation will continue to grow. If the president was indeed cognitively impaired, it raises the possibility that others, perhaps including his son, might have stepped in to fill a void. This scenario would mean that the person elected by the people was not the one fully in command, which is a fundamental issue for any democracy. This situation with Hunter Biden ties directly back to the broader worries about a cover-up of Joe Biden's health. If the former president was not fully capable, and his son was a constant presence, it could suggest that the family was trying to manage the situation internally. It could also mean that decisions were being made or influenced by individuals who were not accountable to the public. These are not small concerns. They go to the heart of who was leading the United States and whether the full truth was being shared with the American people during that time. Because of all these concerns, many people are now calling for more honesty and openness. Lawmakers and journalists are saying that the White House even now needs to be clear about former President Biden's health during his term. They argue that the American public has a right to know the truth about the well-being of their leader. The Washington Post's editorial board, for example, has urged Congress to take action. They want to make sure that something like this, where a president's health might be hidden, does not happen again in the future. This is about trust in government. The Washington Post has even suggested specific ways to make things more transparent. They propose that Congress should have more power to watch over a president's cognitive health. This could mean making presidents take objective tests to check their thinking abilities and physical health. The results of these tests, they argue, should be shared with the public every year. This would help everyone understand if the president is truly fit for the demanding job. Such measures could prevent future administrations from potentially misleading the public about such a critical issue. There are also other unanswered questions that add to the calls for transparency. For instance, questions have been raised about Mr. Biden's cancer diagnosis. Some people wonder why it was not found earlier. A former medical advisor to Mr. Biden reportedly believes that the former president might have had cancer from the beginning of his term, or even before that. If true, this would be another piece of health information that was not fully shared with the public in a timely manner, further eroding trust and highlighting the need for more openness regarding presidential health. In the end, finding out the truth about former President Biden's health is very important. It's important for the people who voted and for the country's trust in its leaders. What happens next will likely involve more investigation. The subpoenas for Jill and Hunter Biden, if issued, could bring new information to light. The goal is to understand what really happened and to make sure that the government is always honest with the American people, especially about something as vital as the president's ability to lead. The integrity of the presidency itself is at stake.